I'm just going to recap a couple of quick things. Let's get started right now. Here we go. You ready? We're on live now. I just want to tell very briefly a story. My wife Wendy and I are very good friends with Russ Johnston. Russ is the executive vice president at Pioneer and has been there for quite a while. And I asked him directly, just tell me. I won't tell anybody.
What are you doing now?
He hasn't said anything yet.
Well, why did you exit the TV business? You made the world's best TV. Guys like me bow to you. We love you. We do a great job marketing your product. And he said, it's just stopped being fun losing money every year. And the stockholders gave us a hard time about it. And as expensive as the TV is, you don't make any money on it. And we just can't continue to perpetuate that. I said raise the price and let's keep it more limited. And they said exactly that. That's just what Russ told me. He said we feel with the downturn of the economy, we're having a hard enough time keeping our 4% market share. We don't think that we can raise our price and even maintain that. So I was sad and I argued with him.
They were only selling to the top 2% anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm still fighting for the inventory that they're holding over there for warranty claims. Maybe we'll get some. So I didn't want to tell that little bit of a story, but he also told me that when this launched, and I was at that press conference, that it was a 2.5-year project, and that their top management in particularly video processing as well as display engineering helped in the development of the product, and that they were very proud of it, and that the culture and DNA of Elite and Kuru is in this product, and they would not permit the use of their brand without their approval to the quality standards. And we can see that it wasn't just the popular vote that made it win, but the top reviewers in the industry voted as the top TV for 2011. So it is what it is. It's an expensive TV as well. This 70-inch model has a list of $8,500. This one has a list of $6,500. So these are very premium, very expensive to build. The components inside have very tight tolerances. It's just as he said, and Russ told me the same thing. They put the engineers together and they said, we don't care about a budget. We want a statement piece. We want the world's best TV. And this is what they got. Real quickly, I want to say that, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, even though it's a statement TV, which no doubt it has it been selling, though?
It sells much better than I would have expected. And that's because maybe my niche is the high-end enthusiast market. So since we kind of own a big share of that tiny market, to us it's been a very viable, high-volume unit.
As a piece altogether, we have far exceeded our sales expectations.
They're
So
hard to
we're doing
get.
pretty well.
They're actually hard to get. We're allocated and we can barely fill the orders. It's not that it's thousands of them, but it is hundreds. And for a small little local retailer, we're not Amazon doing web business or anything.
So the Pioneer made a mistake.
Well, is Sean
I think so.
on these at this point?
Yes. Yeah. Because we can build a lot more.
A couple more quick things. I'm going to go along quickly here. This is mostly, obviously, as you can see in the room, a hobby that is a man's type of hobby. But there is a percentage of women, as small as it is, that enjoy this as a hobby themselves. And I don't know if the three lovely attendees here today are here because it's a hobby, or because they have no choice, because they're supporting their family and spouses. And I just want to say thanks to those great women that have come here today, whether it be their passion or whether it be their personal passion with their family. And just wanted to give some of Ray Wallach's gifts out to the women only. So if you guys want to pick out some Blu-ray movies for yourself, please do that as a token gift here. And thanks to that. And there's another fine lady back here, so I need to say her. Also wanted to go over the ballots real quickly, if I may. Okay. So here's the ballots. The ballots are arranged in the order in which the TVs are laid out on the wall. We went through it earlier. I can do it again if anybody needs to. We're going to vote on one attribute at a time. We're going to review the attributes in great detail. You're going to get a lesson today in television technology. We use the SMPTE test and measurement signals, patterns. We have the top calibrators in the country in the room here today. Kevin Miller is one of the co-founders of ISF itself, with Joel Silver and Joe Kane. He is a level 2 instructor. There's a handful, maybe less than a handful, of level 2 instructors, and he'll give you like an ISF level 2 kind of education here. So it's a very interesting education. We're going to vote one at a time. Vote after you get explained each attribute. This voting is is, how did my son Jeffrey explain it best?
It's a rating, not a rank.
Right, so this is a rating, meaning that two TVs, then it's a 0 or a 1 to 10. 10 is the highest, 10 is an A+. 1 would be a pretty poor, failing grade. So as you rate each category one at a time, when we tell you to vote, you're going to do it as a rating. Don't care about price, don't care about your personal preference. It's very important for everybody here to be honest. You are going to decide who makes the world's best TV. So take it seriously. Don't have a bias towards your brand. Don't have a bias for any reasons of price. We'll worry about the matrix of price later. We're trying to find out who makes the world's best TV. After the results are in, you can say, well, the second best TV is $2,000 less, so that fits my budget and I'll buy that one. You can apply that matrix yourself later. This is a rating, not a rating.
Yeah,
This is a rating. So there could be 2 10s, there could be 3 10s, 4 10s. So it's not a ranking. It's a rating.
We're going to do this based on...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
On contrast level, would you put shadow detail in that? Is that what you
I'd
might
rather
see?
you ask
Or how where
Dwayne
would you
that
put
question.
Contrast ratio is just like that. It's dynamic
Bright-
range really
bright-
between
bright to
how,
black.
how much, yeah, how vibrant and poppy and things like that. Those type of words the display is. Shadow details are really not a part of that per se. I mean, some people.
It's really important to me.
Okay.
You're going to put up program material or test material?
Yeah, we're putting
Yes.
up test signals, and then we're also putting up content that exemplifies and explains each attribute very well.
Exactly. We're going to demo both test patterns for like black level, contrast, etc. And at the same time, we're going to show demo material for that related topic.
Right.
That's
Very
Robert
good.
said.
Very good.
We got one more.
Let's see. And as you can see, the manufacturers were well educated by me on the audience, both in cyberspace and on YouTube. When we archive our videos, there's almost 250,000 people a year that watch our videos. And there's hundreds online, and of course a group here, a very fine group here yesterday and today. So this is a very important venue that we have here. And we've expressed to the manufacturers that we need the top guys. On top of needing the top guys, they have lots of trainers. We also need them to pick out the right engineers to sit in the audience to answer even the more difficult questions. So you can see that Brad, as technical as he is, and he's the top guy at the company there, when he had a technical question, we have Taka here, who's the engineer. And, okay, thank you.
So, Rob, could I just say so?
Yes, Jim, please.
So, there's really no criteria for the rating that speaks to gradations, or, as the gentleman mentioned, a low level detail. Nothing specifically towards the gradations.
I wish there was.
Yeah, because that's very important to me.
Well, it's
We can add it to the next.
That is, I know in the pro space, that's
Yeah,
a
it's not in
huge.
here.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge criteria.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if we should add it. It wouldn't be in yesterday's votings, but
And it would be most
but let me also
recognized.
say, none of these are set to clip or crush any
That's-
detail.
Hold on one second with
Okay.
that. When it comes to shadow detail, you have to keep in mind that is going to be very, very dependent on gamma. If your gamma is too high on the lower end, it's going to appear as if you're crushing those details. If your gamma is too low at the same time on the lower end, it's going to bring out more detail than it actually
Well, that's
should.
understood.
That's
but
why we
Yeah.
count. That's why we count.
Even with the same gamma set on a display, one technology can quite often render the low-level details
Right.
much better than another one and
I agree,
not
yeah.
crush. So even though you're not setting to crush, you would probably still see more detail on a display that I'm not going to name than some
Right.
other ones.
You can get really great blacks, but your gray detail. I mean, you're
Right, I agree. I agree.
We have another new guest that just walked in. I don't think they're going to stay very long. We have Carol here from Channel 12 News. This is the live news team with their ENG camera. We're going to be on the news today, all over Westchester, New Jersey, Long Island. So we're really happy to have Channel 12 News back again. This is their 4th year attending our shootout event. Carol second. Thanks very much for coming today. So let's see, and we have Dr. Larry Weber here, one of the pioneers, and I guess what I would call the creator of modern television as we see it today. He took us out of those big, fat, 300-pound TVs and created a thin panel, and he's with us today, Dr. Weber here. I just want to take a moment to thank some very, very special people that joined us today. We have Bob Harris. Bob Harris, many of you may or may not know, is a very, very famous compressionist. He'll take the film out of the vault of the most famous movies and convert that frame by frame into the best Blu-ray we can produce.
Not just that, the restoration.
He's a restoration master. I'll just use first names. We have Harry from Bach, an industry leader here. We have Jim, a top executive at Panasonic for many years. We have, of course, we have Gus from Cine Pro. We have a room full of experts here joining us today. And we're going to put some nice content on in the background here. So I kind of wanted to recognize some of the very special people that have joined us with us today.
Rich, what's the title of this disc again?
The Art of Flight.
Art of Flight.
We're going to put some film on here that's just absolutely stunning. Rich, my friend Rich brought it with him today. It's called The Art of Flight. It's got some stunning video that makes it very easy for us to compare the quality of the television.
Yeah, let's drop the light so we can see it properly.
This is a fantastic event to really showcase these flagship televisions from every major company, and this is an amazing opportunity for us to be able to truly crown who is the king of HDTV. So with that, we're going to move on with our agenda, and next is we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the presentation, where Kevin takes over, puts up the SMPTE test-generated signals, and he and Dwayne and David McKenzie from the UK help explain what these patterns are, help you interpret and read these patterns, and then apply that to content that we've selected for each category of the attributes of picture quality, which of course, as we all know, contrast ratio being the most important attribute, and within that attribute of contrast ratio is black level and brightness, black level being more important even than the brightness. And then color accuracy, color saturation comes right after that, and then motion resolution. So those are the attributes we're voting on today. Jim very wisely suggested a couple more, and I think that we have to consider all of that, gradation, off-angle viewing, but we're going to do that next year. So to move on with the agenda, we're going to bring Kevin Miller up, and he'll start with the technical part of the presentation.
All right, and when you have a chance, let's put the